People of God, very good day to you. God bless you all. And today I'm reading from Second Chronicles chapter 10 from verses 2 onwards, and we are going to discuss, is the council of elders important in our lives? So now is the moment of internet and Google and everything, but um, let's see what happens here. After Solomon died, his son Rehoboam took over the reign of Israel, and he became the king and the leader of the people of Israel. And let's see what he does, the story. I'm going to read from verse 2. And it came to pass, when Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who was in Egypt, whither he had fled from the presence of Solomon the king, heard it, that Jeroboam returned out of Egypt. So Jeroboam was the son of Nebat, the army chief of the army of Solomon, and he had left Israel and was hiding in Egypt for some reason. And they sent and called him. Who called him? The Israelis. So Jeroboam and all Israel came and spake to Rehoboam. Rehoboam was the son of Solomon, ruling over Israel after Solomon's 40 years of reign in Israel and after his death. So now what happens in verse 4? Thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore ease thou somewhat the grievous servitude of thy father. Now the people are pleading to Rehoboam to make things easier for them. Maybe the taxes were too high, and they had to labor a lot, and things like that. So they were just pleading to Rehoboam to make it lighter for them, not so hard. Like today's governments also, they take so much taxes out of people's pockets on everything. Even if you go shopping or if you go to a restaurant, you pay taxes. You pay taxes for roads and everything, but they are never accounted for. Like, what does the government do with them? We don't know. There is no transparency as such. They never tell us on television that this much was collected out of this particular tax, and we have used it for such a such reason or such a such purpose, which is the duty of the government, actually, to let the people know where their money is being invested for their good. Okay, now, and he said unto them, Come again unto me after 3 days. And the people departed. So Rehoboam the son of Solomon asked for time to decide what he should do. And now what he does in 6. And King Rehoboam took counsel with the old men that had stood before Solomon. So these were the old counselors of Solomon, and he went to them and he asked them, what shall I do? People are asking me to release them from certain burdens that my father had laid on them. What should I do? What counsel give ye me to return answer to this people? 7. And they spake unto him, saying, If thou be kind to this people, and speak good words to them, they will be thy servant forever. So what did the counselors, the old men, the wise men say to him? That you have to be kind to them and speak nicely to them and release them from their burdens, so that they will be able to serve you forever and they will be loyal to you. You can buy their loyalty by being kind to them. 8. But he forsook the counsel which the old men gave him, and took counsel with the young men. Now young men are not bestowed with experience, neither are they bestowed with wisdom, There are a few exceptions, of course. We see in our daily lives that younger people sometimes are more reliable and more wise than some old people, but that is on an exceptional case. Um, that were brought up with him. He stood before that stood before him. So also these young men who were his friends from childhood, who went to school with him and who had, social relations with him from his early years, were his friends. And they used to also stand with him at his throne, around his throne. And he said unto them, What advice give ye, that we may return answer to this people, which have spoken to me, saying, Ease somewhat the yoke that thy father did put upon us. Now in answer, verse 10, And the young men that were brought up with him spoke unto him, saying, Thus shalt thou answer the people that spake unto thee, saying, Thy father made our yokes heavy, but make thou it somewhat lighter for us. Thus shalt thou say unto them, My little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. 11. For whereas my father put a heavy yoke upon you, I will put more to your yoke. My father chastise you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. So these young men are actually trying to threaten the people, and they are trying to bring misery upon the people. And this is the advice that the young men gave to Rehoboam, who was reigning over Israel. And as we see, after this, God divided the kingdom of Israel. He gave the reign to other people, and that was the beginning of the destruction of the Israeli kingdom. And so we have to learn a lesson from this, saying that we should not forsake the counsel of the elderly people, because they have the life experience to help us to grow and to do well in our lives. So people of God, this is one lesson that we should always remember, because the Old Testament has been written and has been given to us for our good, so that we can learn from it and apply these mistakes that the other people made before us, and not to make them again in our own lives. Be blessed, and shalom.